Sales is actually very, very easy. It's just having a simple conversation and breaking that conversation down.
If they're not a confident person, where do they get started, or what tips or advice would you give to them?
The second I pick up the phone, the second the camera turns on, I know, right, I just need to follow a certain system and a certain process.
Value-based pricing versus, fixed pricing.
In order for me to get a customer, I know I just need to work the numbers.
The big, confident Wolf of Wall Street, they're pestering on the phone, don't take no for an answer.
Big companies like Amazon, their main business structure is built around cold call.
Santino, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Ross, thanks so much for having us.
I'm so excited for today because I feel like sales is one of those horrible words, and we'll get into that, but necessary to grow a business at the end of the day. And that's why I want to kick things off with the most basic but most complicated of questions. Is I've obviously got a production company. So for those people who are aspiring videographers, have their own production companies, in simplest way, how can I get more clients? What strategies would you suggest for someone like me?
So obviously what you're selling is B2B. So you're selling video production to other businesses. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, that's right.
And
I
take it the viewers, people who are watching this are probably doing the same as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few strategies. If you're just starting out, and you're just starting out in business and you just want to land more clients, there's a number of ways to do it. And there's a number of, you don't need a lot of money to land sales and to get leads and stuff like that. So what we done in our business, and you can replicate this in any business. So my business is a sales training company where we help businesses with sales training. And what we did before we started spending any money on ads to generate leads, warm traffic and all that sort of stuff, we were like, how can we go about this just using our sweat equity for maximum return on investment? So,
and for people who don't know what sweat equity.
So sweat equity means just pure hard work. Just putting time in, just trying to get results back out. Like that. So what I done was I would literally just find my niche businesses on Google. Just look for businesses on Google. Find their numbers, cold call them, either speak to the gatekeeper, speak to the decision maker, and then I'd say, hey, look, listen, I'm in your area next week seeing a few clients. We do X, Y, and Z, guaranteed to give you X, Y, Z result. Would you be open to a 20-minute sit down with myself? So what I done, I started focused on businesses over in Ireland, because that's where I'm from originally, and I noticed there was a lot of niche industries and niche businesses within the Irish market. And I said, look, listen, I'm over in your area next week. I'll help you do X, Y, Z, increase your sales, increase your conversions, your production, stuff like that. Have you got 20 minutes to sit down with me? And then I just keep on doing that. The minute I filled up my calendar with appointments, I would then book a flight, go over, and then close these deals. So it's the same. So whether you're in the UK and you're reaching out to UK businesses, just call a load of people from Google, make sure you get them booked in for appointment, and then go there and see them. Get 2 or 3 appointments for the day and go there and see them. Now, with that strategy, a lot of people don't realize that there is a certain level of output that you need to put in to get your return on investment, to get the input, or the level of input that you need to get the output, if that makes sense. Meaning, if I call 10 people, I'm not likely to get a meeting booked in. So what I need to do, I need to work through the numbers, meaning I'll get a list of 100 businesses and just spend all day calling those businesses back to back to back to back. And out of that 100, I guarantee you at least one person will say yes to a meeting. And then you just do that for a week straight, book in your calendar for the next week. From the meetings that you book for the next week, I guarantee you, out of having 2 or 3 meetings a day, someone's going to say yes, meaning you're in business. So we implemented that strategy, and then within the next week, so the following week after, we closed 4 high ticket sales. So putting no money in, off the back end, we ended up selling 4 high ticket sales, and we were in business. And then we had the money that we've generated from the clients to spend on advertising. So if anyone hasn't got any money to start advertising or stuff like that, and is wondering where to find leads and get customers, that's the quickest quickest and easiest way to do it. But you just need to make sure that the level of output is there, and that the level of, because the one thing most people don't like about doing cold calling and getting in front of clients and selling to people is there's a lot of rejection. Sales is a rejection game, meaning you need to develop thick skin. You need to understand people aren't saying no to you. They're just saying no now, but it's not directly to you, because either, number one, people are scared that if you do give them a good pitch, number one, they're going to buy. And number two, not a lot of people don't like having their day interrupted as well. So you're just going to get a lot of people, no, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, go away. As long as you can muster that and get through that, you're fine. 100 people a day, one person will buy.
There's so much to unpack there.
Sorry, I just went straight in, but I've got loads of that.
That's a valid strategy. So I can feel, the sense of the importance around cold calling. We'll dive into like what if you're not that type of person. We'll dive into what kind of things do you say, and we'll type and different strategies and things like that. I think I was really surprised when you kind of have helped us. We've recently taken on a salesperson, as you know, and you helped us through that kind of process. And what surprised me is kind of the expectation of doing between like 80 and 100 dials a day. Every salesperson I spoke to was like, yeah, that's normal. And I was like, wow, I've never done that. But it is such a numbers game. And that does make that does make kind of complete sense. For me, like, again, building up that resilience, and this is kind of a tip that I learned along my journey, because I think there's a fear of that kind of confidence. And again, that I'll kind of come back into that. Because I don't put myself in that category. Like all the things that you're saying are all the things that really makes me really scared to pick up the phone and all those things. And someone gave me a tip when I started out and said, like, you have to kind of become an actor, an alias, or put on an invisible bulletproof jacket. And like when you pick up that phone, it's no longer, Ross, the nice guy that likes to do things with his family. It's it's Jeff or Jason or whatever. It's someone different, and kind of a nice little strategy to get through that. So if we just kind of like circle back onto, I think probably a key thing, we identified you need to have that resilience. But let's take someone who, they signed up to be a filmmaker. They want to create really cool content. Like, obviously there's importance around sales. In order to have a business, you need to make sales. But if they're not a confident person, where do they get started, or what tips or advice would you give to them?
So the best advice I could personally recommend is myself, I'm not actually a very confident person. Again, I agree with 100% of what you said. The second I pick up the phone, the second the camera turns on, I know, right, I just need to follow a certain system and a certain process to get my point across, if that makes sense. Like when I'm talking off camera, not off the phone, I'm actually very, very awkward to talk to in some scenarios. Like nine times out of 10, when I'm in a normal scenario and I'm not talking about business, not talking about sales, I'm very, very awkward because I don't know what to talk about. But the second I get on the camera, the second I pick up the phone, I know that there's a set process that I can follow to get, number one, have a good conversation, and number two, get the end result that I want. So for me, it's like, you need to develop the resilience, and not everyone has that. I didn't have that when I first started, but my goal to have my business where it is pushes me through to be like, right, in order for me to get a customer, I know I just need to work the numbers. I know I need to get there. And I know I need to just push through the no's in order to get to the yeses. But for me, it's like, sales is actually very, very easy. It's just having a simple conversation and breaking that conversation down into a framework. So every single conversation follows 5 steps. There's the introduction, the short story, the presentation, the close, and the consolidation. So intro, whenever you meet someone knocks on your door, you go to a shop, you meet someone at a party. Oh, hi, how you doing? Oh, what's your name? Oh, yeah, oh, what do you do for work? Oh,
It's like that small talk.
It's that small talk. It's the introduction. Oh, the short story is, oh, so what do you do? Oh, I do X, Y, Z. Really? Oh, yeah, so we do this. Oh, tell me a little bit more about that. then you get into the presentation. So, oh yeah, we do this, we help customers do X, Y, Z, or myself and my partner, we met each other there. It was absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend going. And then the close, mate, it was great to meet you. Hope you have a great day. And I'll speak to you soon. Consolidation, I wish you all the best. So every single conversation follows that framework: intro, short story, presentation, close, and consolidation. And once you understand that, you understand that I can actually sell to anyone, and it doesn't have to be this whole sleazy Wolf of Wall Street kind of small doll, buy or die sort of thing. It's, look, listen, I provide a service. I can give you X result. I want to have a conversation with you about it, so I can then obviously make the sale and then go off and create. So I always say, don't overcomplicate the sales process. It's just a simple conversation once you know the framework. And the more you understand that, the less you have to actually sell to people, meaning the less output you have to put in, meaning you can get more clients easier and focus more on the creative work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then hire a salesperson, just focus on boom, 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 boom.
Well, that was the key thing for us.
I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, I think it does. Like, yeah, in a roundabout way. I think that breakdown of that section and kind of humanizing it into, it sparked a memory. Actually, I went to a conference to try and get a bit better at, like, you know, at sales or business entrepreneurship, you know, those kind of things. And that kind of sparked a thought in my head where they said, you're always selling. You've been selling since you were a baby. When you were a baby and you wanted, or, you know, when you were a child or whatever, and you wanted a toy, you're selling to your parents. I want this toy. I want this toy because of, and you're being like persistent. And when they said that, I was like, oh my God, I'd never
everything's
put
a sale.
two and two together.
Everything's a sale.
Yeah, like even, you know, even to my son now, you know, like I'm
you
selling
sell it
to him.
You have to go to bed for XYZ reason.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think
it's funny you say that, because the other day my missus, it was our birthday, and we went out one night for dinner, and obviously we went out. It wasn't the best food and all that stuff, and you know, women, they always want to make sure that they're looking pretty, they're healthy, like they don't put on too much weight and stuff like that. And we went out one night, then her parents took her out for a takeaway the next night, and then I think it was not last night, the night before, I turn around and goes to her, do you want a Nando's? She was like, no, I'm trying to eat healthy. I was like, go on, you know you really want one. So obviously I had to sell to her in that situation as well. So even when you're with your partner and you're thinking, oh, where would you like to eat? And they're like, oh, I don't know. You have to sell to your partner in those situations. When, like you say, when you're trying to convince your kids to go to bed, you're selling to your kids. When you're building a business, like if you're trying to build a business, you're not just selling to your clients to get customers, you're also selling your team on the vision of the business, because no one wants to work in a business that isn't going anywhere and that isn't going to provide them a fulfilled career. So you're always selling, we're going there. You're always selling the vision. So anything you do, like you say, you're selling.
Yeah, I guess you see as well, like it in that sense of like someone who isn't confident, you know, like me and yourself, and I think like probably surprises people because they see us on, you know, podcasts or doing these things, and it is kind of obviously a bit of a front, like in some senses. I wouldn't say it's like not genuinely me, but obviously if people who really know us probably know the softer side, and actually, you know, and it is, you know, maybe less of, you know, a process in the real world. But when I think about not being confident, and just also thinking like, what's the worst that's going to happen here? They might say no, they might shout at you, they might swear at you, but you can always then put down the phone.
Exactly.
What I'd like to know is, let's say, you know, that's just cold calling is just not up my street. At all. Or what other suggestions would you have for people to get more work? We're going to move this podcast over to our Perspective Pro group now. So if you guys have been enjoying this and want to see the full version, then go and take a look at that. I'll link it in the description below. Our Perspective Pro group is an online community dedicated to helping videographers grow their businesses, both creatively and through the business side of filmmaking. We have an amazing community. We have monthly competitions where we give away camera equipment, lighting packages, and so much more. And we also have Academy role plays, Q&A sessions, and expert features like this. So if you want to get involved, take a look at that, and I look forward to seeing you over there.